Hang on.
Yeah, you are sure.
I just say, watching the lads done successfully what probably the EDL wanted to do it in the early years, but wasn't successful in doing. I think at every event, the lads, which we've thanked every single time, is the football lads, and the idea is, I see football clubs, and I see it even in Europe now, and I see all their groups come into this country, and I see all the men and the passion, and I think, where's the passion for the country? And I've always thought that. How are the lads not all coming together for the country, but they want to come and knock shit out of each other on a Saturday? I just don't, and I fell out.
You used to be one.
I used to be, but then I fell out. Well, once I started this, I fell out of love with the football, because I thought, I don't want to turn up and fight the lads on a Saturday. We've got bigger problems to fight.
Following you now, mate.
So yeah,
Behind you now.
yeah, no, it's been great. I enjoyed watching it. It's great. I knew it was a long time coming as well. Because I know what you were doing. I bet you had so much footage as well. To cut down to that, didn't you? I bet you had so much footage, so much to watch through. I know.
Great one to tell you, and I'll tell you what, mate.
You need to do some cutaways here. You need to do some extra cutaways. But no, it's been great to watch, and I just said, yeah, I'm looking forward to May 16th.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to May 16th. Yeah, and the best of luck. I said I've missed some of them. I'm watching it. Where was all of that going?
Should have been named up.
Okay, I should have been there reporting on that. Why weren't I there reporting on that? But it's great to see the combination of the two, save the children and the football lads, and really give someone people. And you like people. Yeah. Well, you like to give them the useful thing for once. Brings all those groups together. Because what's been so great now is, as I watch, is the new groups all springing up in towns and cities and all organically organising themselves. It's great to watch. I also know, Phil, the shit you went through. I stopped again. I know the shit you went through, even from within. So you know at the start. I know everyone wanted to, because I had the same. People within Luton trying to turn it into a race thing. I'd say because they were cowards and didn't have the bollocks to stand up to what we were standing up to. Because you're too weak to get involved, you want to blame it on race to give yourself an excuse for why you're not actually fucking trying to confront this problem. And I know at the time, as I was watching it develop, I knew the shit you had been facing from within, around your own club, all these problems. So I always watch, and I watched on a couple of them people on that, even on that. Whenever something springs up, I think, well, let's see how long that person lasts. Yeah, when a new group springs up. 9 years later, 10 years later, you're still here, so you passed the test of time, which many don't. Many don't. When I watched that, yeah, he's gone. Shit got tough, he went. So yeah, fair play. That's respect. Just before I go,
British politics. Like this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Doc British. Believe it or not, over 98% of viewers watch our content without hitting the follow button. Subscribing is completely free. In this passage, Tommy Robinson is trying to reinterpret football supporter culture, especially the so-called football lads, as a hidden political force that has simply been misdirected. Instead of viewing football hooliganism as a social problem shaped by tribal loyalty, aggressive masculinity, and economic frustration, he presents it as starred patriotic energy that could be redirected into nationalist activism. By praising the passion, loyalty, and sense of brotherhood within these groups, he softens and romanticizes a culture that has long been linked with violence and disorder. He suggests that the same instincts that once led to clashes between rival clubs should now be redirected toward defending the nation. This rhetorical shift serves two clear purposes. First, it affirms his audience's identity by portraying them as naturally brave, loyal, and powerful. Second, it reframes aggression as morally acceptable, even necessary, when it is directed at the targets he defines. When Robinson says he fell out of love with football because there are bigger battles to fight, he presents himself as someone who has grown politically. He implies that real responsibility means moving beyond sport and stepping into political confrontation. Yet this framing is deeply contradictory, because he continues to admire and promote the same confrontational mindset he claims to have outgrown. Robinson also stresses that new groups are forming on their own across towns and cities. This claim is meant to make his movement appear spontaneous, grassroots, and genuinely popular. However, his language suggests something far more organized than he admits. His repeated references to cooperation between football supporters and Save the Children activists point to a planned effort to combine emotional causes with nationalist organization. By linking his movement to child protection, an issue that almost everyone agrees on, he creates a moral shield. This makes criticism of his politics easier to dismiss, as opponents can be portrayed as uncaring or hostile to children. This is a familiar tactic in populist and far-right movements, where real public concerns are attached to a wider political agenda that often includes exclusionary or anti-immigrant ideas. The result is a deliberate blurring of the line between normal civic activism and political radicalization. Another key theme in Robinson's speech is his focus on internal conflict and loyalty, framing politics as a struggle that demands unity, obedience, and a clear sense of who belongs and who does not. He accuses some people within the Luton community of trying to turn the issue into one about race, branding them as cowards who lack the courage to face what he claims is the real problem. This is a classic form of boundary control. Instead of engaging with disagreement or recognizing genuine concerns about racism, he undermines critics by portraying them as weak or deliberately obstructive. By doing this, he creates a strict moral divide. You are either fully with him or you are against him. This approach strengthens loyalty and unity among his supporters, but it also shuts down critical thinking, open debate, and self-reflection inside the movement. Questioning the narrative becomes a sign of betrayal rather than a normal part of political discussion. Robinson's praise for those who have remained active for 9 or 10 years further shows how he defines legitimacy through endurance rather than results. In his framing, simply staying involved over time becomes proof of being right, regardless of whether the movement has produced any positive or constructive social outcomes. Politics is shifted away from evidence, solutions, and policy, and instead centered on loyalty, identity, and belonging. As a result, the movement becomes less about addressing real problems and more about proving personal commitment to a shared cause. Being part of the group matters more than achieving measurable change. Overall, Robinson's speech works mainly as a story of brotherhood, grievance, and cultural struggle rather than a detailed political argument. He appeals to emotion, nostalgia, and solidarity, presenting his supporters as under-pressure patriots standing against a hostile or corrupt system. Complex social issues are reduced to a simple moral battle between so-called true patriots and others who are portrayed as timid, disloyal, or naive. In doing so, he places identity and conflict above dialogue, compromise, or practical solutions. British politics. Like this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Doc British. Believe it or not, over 98% of viewers watch our content without hitting the follow button. Subscribing is completely free.